Hello people, and welcome back to Let's Play Vainglory with Cote d'Ivoire, episode 3. So in this episode we are going to be looking at mid lane weapon IDRIS, where elusiveness is key. Now, weapon IDRIS is best picked into mages such as Celeste the Scarf, so because of how its frequent dashes are able to help you dash out from the skill shots and stuns in that case. But in this video, we're actually going to be laning up against a Crystal Vox, which he also does super well into because of how his playstyle is more of go in, burst, and get out. So we're first going to be starting off by pushing out our lane wave over here before we will head over to the Crystal Buff area to, of course, get a Crystal Buff. But we're just going to clear out this lane wave here, and the starting items for Crystal Idris, this weapon Idris is an O card and a book of villages. I'll explain later why you want to get the O card. So after clearing up your lane wave, you want to head down into the jungle to try to get your crystal buff here. Now, weapon is heavily run on the spike where you unlock your weapon path, which takes 100 weapon power, and because of that, is basically if you get 2 heavy steel, you basically unlock the path without having to head into any tier 3 items to complete it. So for example, if you just get a heavy steel and 6 you wouldn't have enough weapon power to unlock the weapon path. If you were building into a tension bow, you wouldn't have enough weapon power to unlock your weapon path as well. So for this build, we're actually going to be heading into a double heavy steel just to unlock the weapon path. So you unlock, the faster you unlock your dash, the faster you hit your power spike. So after clearing the blue buff over there and also clearing out the 2 bear camps, we're actually pretty set in terms of money as well as money goes, and there's a huge wave here for us, such that after clearing this wave, we're actually gonna back off and shop for some items. So the items that I am actually going to get here is a Stoneguard banner to help me basically do as much damage and clear everything as fast as possible, be it the jungle or the lane. So I'd want to be getting my Stormguard banner along with boots and weapon blades just to slowly build towards my double heavy steel spike. Now, as you can see, after clearing this Captain Minion, I'm actually going to roll back and actually basically head on home and actually pick up Stormguard banner, a few weapon blades, and boots. So after which, I'm actually going to be heading back to my lane such that I can actually clear the lane again and slowly. At this point of time, I'm not super strong yet because I haven't hit the power spike that I mentioned earlier, but I'm actually still going to be farming and maximize my gold per minute by rotating between the jungle, lane, and basically to farm as much as possible because I'm actually investing myself into the Stormguard banner for a little bit of early tankiness as well as the farming potential it can bring. So basically, I'll just be clearing waves after waves at the lane, as well as heading back to my jungle when it spawns. So as you can see, our XP, the 2 bear camps, the ones that basically give a lot of experience, this has already spawned. So after clearing my mid wave, I wouldn't waste too much time over here and actually head to the XP camp to maximize my gold per minute. So as I head over here, I'm actually gonna basically take this super quickly and head back to the lane if the lane is pushed. So the first ability that you will want to max on weapon Idris in the mid lane is actually your B ability, your Chakram, because the amount of poke damage and amount of burst damage you can put out with that is insane, and it also lowers the cooldown, of course. So I'm actually gonna be heading back to my lane where I'm going to clear out 2 waves of CS over here. Correction, maybe actually or just the 1 wave before I actually head over to the gold tree and over in my jungle over here. So by doing this rotation where I'm just rotating between my lane, my blue side jungle, and my red side jungle, I'm basically maximizing the amount of gold that I have just to speed up however much I want to get into my spike, which is the 2 heavy steel spike. As you can see, when I actually went to go to shop, I'm actually gonna pick up 2 heavy steel, which basically unlocks my weapon path, which is the instantaneous blink that my A can give. So as you see, the Crystal Trion has actually spawned over here, so I'm actually heading over to it. And the jungle shop is going to spawn in about 10 seconds from now. So I'm actually going to be heading back to the lane to clear this wave. Now, after clearing this wave, I will be heading down into the jungle shop because it would have already spawned, and I'll pick up my double heavy steel, which basically gives which I'm actually going to build into the subsequent items, which I'll mention later. But for this build, it's basically what I have basically is a boots, Storm Guard Banner, double heavy steel, and that is actually enough for me to do a lot of damage at the point where I'm level 6. So I actually put a scout camp there just to check in the bush whether there's a scout camp in the bush. I actually used my blink. As you can see, the amount of damage is insane because the empowered attack. Also adding the chakram damage. The chakram damage basically does a lot as well because I'm actually maxing it. So I'm actually gonna head over after poking down Vox. I'm gonna head over to his blue jungle. So I could have outed there, but to try to pick up the kill on Vox. But then if he managed to put his flask, pop his flask there, then that would have been bad. And I wasn't sure whether he had popped his flask earlier. So at this point of time, I actually saw him still under his turret. So I went in, blink, chakram, ulti. This combo is actually pretty simple to pull off, but it basically works super effective. So after killing Vox over there, I'm actually gonna be continuing to push out the lane wave into his turret, such that he'll miss all these minions over here before maximizing more gold, because I know that he's heading back to the lane. And if I cannot take the turret, I wouldn't want to waste my time basically lowering the health of it if when I can do it later after when I get enough items. So I'm actually going to be heading over here trying to get the gold 3 and ambient gold. However, there were already 2 of my teammates there, so I'll head over to the bear camps and I'll take these bear camps away. As you can see, at this point of the game, I'm actually already level 8, whereas Vox is probably only level 6. So basically I have a 2 level advantage above the mid laner, and that's because of my rotation as well as the Storm Guard buy, because the Storm Guard allows me to farm way quicker and allows me to miss basically less CS in lane. I tried to stop his recall there, forcing his flask to be popped as well as his AIM ability, before heading over into his jungle once again to try to pick off his Crystal Treant. So at this point of time, he tried to rotate down because Koshka was here, and Koshka had his level 6 ultimate. So he stunned me here and I almost went down. I threw my chakram, went into my ultimate, and I picked up a double kill. So this was a turning, basically a point that basically set me so much more ahead than the Fox here, as I was not only able to pick up the 2 kills, but also after heading down to the shop here and actually picking up items. That was supposed to be a level 6 Koshka spike, so I basically shut it down by not dying and in fact picking up 2 kills in return. So this basically sets my team up ahead to basically win this game already. So all I have to do is continue setting and rolling the snowball that I've created myself, and I'm actually already level 9. Now to basically head into the builds, basically after building my double heavy steel, I've already completed my Serpent's Mask buy, as I'll be heading towards Aegis, early Aegis, because the thing about weapon is that if you understand the hero well, is that progressive damage can't really do much to it. However, burst damage basically harms it a lot because of how its playstyle is mainly you basically blink in with the barrier, and so if the enemy can burst your barrier and do damage to you before you retreat from the fight, then that is effective in killing you. So simply by getting Aegis, you're basically negating the burst that the Koshka can basically do to me, and also of course give me a reflex block activate that I can use when Catherine tried to stun me. So that's something to take note of. So I'm going to be building into Aegis, and after building into Aegis, I'm actually going to be heading towards the next item. So the next item that I'm going to be building after Aegis is actually Bone Saw, because of how much armor these people are going to build. Like as you can see, after getting my Aegis at a shop over here, we're actually going to look at the items of the enemy soon after, where everyone will start to build their armor against me, and because of that I'm actually going to be going for my Bone Saw and just keeping my heavy steel there. This is actually a pretty standard build because most of the time when you play against basically high tiered players, they tend to itemize defensively earlier, and the earlier they itemize, the more useful your Bone Saw will be. And if they do not itemize a lot of armor, sometimes this Bone Saw pick will also do its work, because there's still some time before you can get a Bone Saw if you rush your breaking point first. So this build that I'm heading down towards is really unique, and is that basically not seen anywhere, because the standard Idris build will probably consist of a shift. Basically shift works pretty well on Idris as well, followed by a Sorrow Blade because that unlocks the weapon path. Basically builds like that are pretty common, Tension Bow, but this build that I'm gonna be heading towards to today is basically after this kill over here, I'll continue explaining as Koshka basically tried to turn around to out me. I threw a chakram just to pick up the kill over here. So yeah, back to the builds. I'll be talking about basically this is a slightly off meta build, and basically provides you a lot of sustain, a lot of progressive damage, and a lot of dive potential, because with this build, after with the complete full build, basically the cooldown that I have, along with the attack speed that I have, along with basically the playstyle that I play this IDRIS, the blinks are your A ability are basically on a 2 to 3 seconds cooldown, and that is crazy insane. It's even faster than a weapon Vox dash cooldown. So to have that for an Idris, and it's actually super important. Then that's my playstyle on Idris, so you can choose to learn this playstyle of Idris. So at this point of time, I actually completed my Aegis buy, and as you can see, Koshka was doing basically nothing to me. Now this very early defense itemization from me is actually basically preventing, number one, myself to be CC'd by Keth, and number two, of course, to deal with the burst damage that Koshka, as I mentioned earlier, the burst damage that the Koshka can put up, which is the only kind of damage that really threatens an Idris. So in this build, I'm actually going to be hitting after an Aegis. I'm going to be going to the Bonesaw. I've explained it earlier, and after the Bonesaw, I'm going to complete my Heavy Steel into a breaking point, because of how the weapons getting a Idris work, where you basically have very high weapon ratios. So in this team fight over here, we can actually see Koshka actually stunning me up. So I actually jumping in and bursting Vox from 3/4 health to basically 1/4 health, such that Scarf was able to finish him off. So Kev popped his Storm Guard here, preventing me from going in to burst him. After which we are just gonna push out this wave and take the turret. Now, after taking the turret over here on the enemy side, the first tier mid turret, I actually hit it into their red jungle, and I saw that both the Gold Oak and the weapon buff are up, so I'm actually gonna be taking both of these. Just taking it away because weapon is just with weapon buff with this build, of course, is super scary. Drew tried to recall, thinking I'll stop his recall, but little did he know that I'm only concerned into getting up my build at this point, because after farming up so well and being level 12 and basically 3 levels ahead of everyone on the enemy team, this basically allows me to be unkillable and basically super painful. So as you can see, Kev here trying to stop me, but because I have the weapon buff, I'm actually going to be permanently slowing him, as well as basically resetting my A cooldown, because every time I auto attack, it basically reduces the cooldown of my short step by 1 second. And so I was able to also pick up Koshka over here, because he basically does no damage to me and the weapon buff slows are just pretty insane. Now at this point of time, the enemy blue buff was being taken by BF and Fox, and basically they had a little miscommunication. BF wanted to give Fox, however I went in to steal it away, and after just basically autoing BF a few times, I decided that it was not worth basically wasting my time, and I actually went over to the shop to just pick up my breaking point over here. So after picking up basically just camping enough gold such that I have enough gold to get my breaking point over here, I'm actually going to be heading back to the lane, where I'll be pressuring the enemy super hard. So it's at this point over here where a team fight will happen, and basically Kev just wasted her stun right there. So after throwing my chakram and stacking my basically breaking point over here, I'm actually going to be outplaying this whole enemy team 1v3 by using my flash at the last second, turning in on BF. Vox was full health, I managed to play him as well, and then just escaping barely with basically 1 bar of health. So I was able to help pick up this turret over here. Celeste didn't really need the help actually. So from that team fight, you can actually replay the team fight and see how it basically went. But basically I went in with my short step to basically do my empowered attack, just to start stacking my breaking point, throwing my chakram on both Black Feather and Vox to further stack my breaking point, popping my ulti to basically negate Kev's silence, basically to avoid it. And after which I came out with a lot of breaking point stacks. However, I still had to run a bit because they were all really healthy, and it was a 3v1 after all, and Black Feather sustain basically kept him pretty much alive. So after throwing more chakrams to basically increase my stack and gain me lots of health back, because I have a Serpent's Mask, I actually went in to finish off BF, and then I continued staying in the fight because I knew that running wouldn't work against a Fox, and I managed to outplay and basically got the kill on Fox as well, surviving with almost no health. So after clearing the mid wave over here, I'm actually going to be heading into the shop to see to basically pick up some a weapon infusion, as well as help my teammate here with the Black Claw. So after getting the Black Claw here, I'm actually going to be heading back into the mid lane to see if I can do work there. So I'm actually simply just gonna clear the lane with here along with my Black Claw and start pushing it. So yeah, this build of Idris basically has a very high skill, I guess, very high skill cap, in which if you can use your short steps super effectively like how I do, then you'll actually be able to do a lot of work. However, if you miss short step or do something that is basically too reckless, or allow yourself to be busted down because of your lack of armor, things might be a bit tough. So at this point of time, I was just on the outskirts stacking my breaking point here slowly by just throwing chakrams in to hit the turret as well, to do the turret damage. I did not want to hit in now at this point of time. Shoot another chakram onto Vox, and then I started to do a lot of damage. So Vox actually went down to Celeste ultimate. That was a very well placed Celeste Solar Storm right there. So I was then again still on the outskirts of the map when the next team fight breaks out, where Arden was basically dead here. So I was 1v4 at this current point of time. So as you can see, by using my ultimate, I managed to stay with such low health, but you can see the amount of damage that I was able to dish out from this fight is actually pretty insane. Now we're actually gonna be looking back at this fight and see exactly what happened. So I'm basically stacking my breaking point and even using my ultimate to further stack my breaking point and pick up the kill on Black Feather as well as Koshka. So I was down to basically super low health. I used my flask to basically keep me alive, at the same time continue attacking Jewel for the lifesteal and damage. And after killing Jewel, Kev did not have enough damage to take me down. And at this point of time, I had a lot of breaking point stacks, and yeah, it just shows how insanely good this Idris build is, because of if you're able to pull off this playstyle, and I guess if you know how to use it well, this build is actually super invincible, I would say. So after taking down this enemy armory over here, I tried to go on Vox over here, in which I did a lot of damage to him. However, he popped his boots. I tried to chase after, I couldn't do anything about that. We actually managed to pick up armories on the top lane as well as the bottom lane here, so it was really good. So basically this game was a win from I guess here on out, because there wasn't really anything that the enemy team could do. So there isn't much point in me basically commentating over the game like super like intensively, I guess. So I'm actually gonna be looking at and talking about the builds once again to refresh your memory on how this mid lane weapon Idris actually work. So first of all, you need to know that the weapon buff is really important, because of the permanent slows that you are able to put out, and the number of attacks that allow you to stick onto the ranged or a melee enemy basically allows you to be able to keep resetting the cooldown of your A ability 1 second every time you auto attack. So because the amount of attack speed you have in this build, you can actually keep auto attacking and use your A whenever it's off cooldown before you continue auto attacking with the weapon buff. So you want to start off, of course, the game with a Book of Elegies and an Oak Heart. The Oak Heart is so you can get your Stormguard banner as soon as possible. In case you are forced to back or you die in the early game, you might still be able to pick up your Stormguard banner, which is super essential into getting you fed. So after that, you want to be building into a double heavy steel without any delay, without buying any side items, maybe just a light shield, which you'll be building into Aegis later on, but without any delay, a double heavy steel. As we actually look at this fight over here, one last fight I should say. So I'm actually heading into the enemy base here, throwing my chakram to stack my breaking point slightly, waiting for my short step cooldown. As long as it's up, I wait for my bar such that I get a barrier. I actually short stepped in and busted Jewel down really quickly, and it was at this point of time where my Arden basically didn't Crucible the silence, and I had to basically back off after being double silenced, almost going down. However, popping my flask and Aegis to survive. So as I head out here, my teammate will actually continue pushing in the enemy Vein Crystal over here. So the thing about the build is you would definitely want to rush your 2 heavy steel such that you can hit your weapon spike, the unlocking of the weapon path on weapon Idris, because that blink is basically, first of all, it's super elusive and you can use it very skillfully to dodge skill shots, as well as as well as using it to, of course, shock the enemy. So I finished this game, as you can see, with a 1303 KDA and a heck lots of gold, like 16.7k in 20 minutes. That's pretty much 5k or 6k ahead of the most gold in the enemy team, which is Jewel. So the build isn't really special, but it's how you actually build up towards it. For example, using a Storm Guard to help you get your double heavy steel and the rest of your build quicker before selling it away after you actually build your Serpent's Mask. Then keeping your heavy steel in your inventory, however not building it into anything because you want to complete your defense. At the same time, also Bone Saw. So after getting all these items, then you would want to build into your breaking point, and finally selling your Storm Guard banner to build a spell sword, because the reason why there's no crit is because crit is pretty iffy when you only have one crit item, in which the percentage of critting is really low and you have to depend on the random number generator. So because of that, adding additional weapon power as well as cooldown basically benefits this weapon Idris path a lot. Because really, if you ask me, the weapon ratios on his A ability, the one which basically grants him barrier, the more weapon power you have basically grants you more barrier, and crit doesn't give that. So on top of that, the ultimate is 150% weapon ratio, and crit doesn't do that as well. The only thing that crit benefits is your auto attacks. So getting weapon power like from the Serpent's Mask, from the breaking point, and the spell sword is actually plentiful for you to be able to do insane amount of damage without with your auto attacks, your B, your A, and your ulti, basically utilizing your whole kit the most effectively out of this build. And because of the frequent shroud step cooldown, the low shroud step cooldown from your auto attack resets off the shroud step, you can actually basically dash every 2 to 3 seconds, and that's the playstyle to playing this. So when you play in the actual game where there are actually mages, in this case it's a CP Fox in the mid lane, however if there's a Celeste, there's a Varya or a Gwen, depends heroes like this, you basically, the combo you want to pull off is basically the shroud step followed by your chakram and ultimate to basically burst them down as soon as possible. After this whole combo, if they have their support with them, they'll survive with very little health, and all you have to do is continue auto attacking and shroud stepping, and they'll be down in no time. Of course, if the enemy have a Catherine, a small tip is to get your Aegis as early as possible, such that when you are doing the combo with the shroud step chakram, you wouldn't get stunned and then be unable to pop your ultimate, such that you can't get close to the enemy carry after they boots away. So things to note: weapon buff is important, builds are important, how you build up towards it. The boots, you want to get into a tier 3 boots, because in the late game all you want to do is you want to boots into a path where basically you can get to the enemy mage in range of it after you pop your shroud step, your A ability. You want to blink towards them, you auto them once, show your chakram, do the combo, and they should be dead. So that's all for this episode of Weapon Idris in the mid lane, and honestly, I know that there's no Idris players that plays it this way, and so I hope I can basically provide you with a very fun way and also a very effective way on playing Weapon Idris, especially in the mid lane where it's not commonly seen. However, it is really a very good counter against mages such as Celeste, and of course the Vainglory meta would slightly be shifting towards the assassin mids, I'd say, over time. So this is just the first step towards that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe. So basically tell me what you would like to see next, and I'll get it up for you. So this has been Quarter 4, and this has been episode 3 of Let's Play Vainglory Quarter 4 with mid lane Idris, where elusiveness is key. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys next video.